I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Closing Arguments. A big day in our live coverage of the mistaken rideshare murder case. It was a huge day down in Columbia, South Carolina. Now, here on Court TV, through the course of our coverage of all these trials around the country, from time to time, there are people associated with the defendant who take the witness stand. And there are sometimes former boyfriends or girlfriends, exes, who take the stand. And I would say probably 9 times out of 10, 19 times out of 20, maybe 99 times out of 100. When your ex takes the stand at your murder trial, not going to be a good day. Today, no different for Nathaniel Rowland, the defendant in this case, as Maria Howard, a woman who dated him from time to time, had some sort of a relationship with him, was friendly with him, may have been his girlfriend, took the stand. She really wanted no part of Nathaniel Rowland. At least that's what I took away from it. I'll let you decide for yourself. Take a listen to her testimony.
Where had you left that visor?
In the back window.
Of what?
His car.
Of what
Next
kind of car?
His Impala.
Okay. And when had you left it there?
The day before when he picked me up.
And where did you leave it?
In the back window.
So what, if anything, did you expect about that visor when he showed up? Where did you expect it to be?
In the window.
Was it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ask him about that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did he tell you?
That it was in the country.
And what did you say to that?
Why would it be in the country?
And what did he tell you?
It had blood on it.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that.
It had blood on it.
He told you that the visor had blood on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask him, what'd you ask him?
Why would that have blood on it?
And what'd he tell you? You can tell me.
Mind my business.
Mind your business. Did you ask him again?
Yes.
And what'd he tell you?
Mind my business.
What, if anything, did you notice about the car at that point?
That it was like dry blood in the car.
Where in the car?
On the dashboard and beside the seats.
When you say the dashboard, what are you talking about?
Where the airbags are.
Like the console?
Yes,
If I said
ma'am.
console? Okay. And where else did you see blood?
In the back seat.
In the back seat. Was anything else in the back seat?
It was a sheet over the back seat and the back of the driver's seat.
And how do you mean there was a sheet?
It was kind of like covering, but it wasn't all the way covering the seat.
Okay. Was it like draped on the seat so you could see the outline of the seat, or was it above the seat? Or describe
Just like
that.
through over the seat where you can't see.
Okay. Could you see anything in the back seat besides the sheet?
Blood
Where did you see blood then?
on the seat.
On the seat. Okay. Not the part that was covered, or was it under the, could you see through the sheet?
Like the part of the seat that wasn't covered, you could see blood.
Okay. What did you do when you saw the blood?
I asked him, why is it blood in the car? Did you hit a dog?
And what did he say?
Mind my business.
Did he tell you he hadn't had his car all day?
No.
Did he tell you where he'd been other than being in the country?
No. It was a phone in his car, and I asked him where did he get it from because it looked like a female phone.
And why do you say it looked like a female?
It was a rose gold iPhone, and it was in perfect condition.
All right. And where was it located?
It's a button that you mash, and the radio thing go up. It was in there.
So is there like a holder or something beside it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so that's where it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ask him where that phone was from?
I asked him where did he get it from.
What did he tell you?
He found it.
And you stated again, what kind of condition was it in?
It was in perfect condition.
Did it look like it'd been dropped?
No.
Did it look like it'd been in the dirt?
No.
So many problems for this defendant today after his ex took the stand. Now, this is the following morning, right? So if there's all this blood all over the car and somebody else had taken it and your friend/girlfriend is asking you, why is there blood here? Maybe the answer would be, oh my goodness, I don't know what happened. I fell asleep last night. I passed out. So-and-so took my car, and when I got it back, there was blood everywhere. I don't know what happened here. That's not what he said. He said he was out in the country. Let me bring in Court TV crime and justice reporter Joy Lim Nakrin, who joins us from Columbia, South Carolina tonight. Joy, let me ask you, because this line about in the country, in the country, in the country, is that where Samantha Josephson was found, out in the country?
Yes. Yes, she was. She was found in a very remote area outside of New Zion, South Carolina. And it was a place that we heard investigators describe as, really having not very much traffic. People who would be in that area generally lived in that area. And she was discovered by turkey hunters because, again, there weren't many people who would go to that location where Samantha's body was found unless they were either farming, hunting, or they lived there.
And Nathaniel Rowland, does he have any sort of connection to that area?
He does. He actually has family members who live a couple of miles from the scene where Samantha's body was found. And that's something we haven't yet heard much about in this trial, but we do anticipate hearing more about that, Vinny.
Okay, now I want to talk about courtroom dynamic here. You've got Maria Howard on the stand, had some sort of a relationship with the defendant. He's on trial for murder. She's testifying for the prosecution. What was that dynamic like back and forth between these two?
Yeah, I mean, so, it's certainly the body language indicates that the defendant was obviously not pleased with the fact that his ex-girlfriend or, unlabeled ex was taking the stand against him. At the same time, cross-examination of Maria Howard was pretty intense. They kept asking, well, if you saw that there was some strange behavior by your boyfriend or your friend, why didn't you call police? She said she was scared. They asked about the timeline. They asked, why would you ride in a car that you know is bloody? Why did you drive a car that you know is bloody? Why would you put your child in a car that you know is covered with blood? And she said that she had to, that she had no other form of transportation. So, the defense really tried to poke some holes in that. But what she said ultimately as a state witness was pretty powerful. She said that she saw this car covered with blood, as we heard her say, that she saw him cleaning it, that she saw him cleaning what she thought was a hunting knife, and that she kept asking and asking and asking, what is all this about? And he kept telling her, mind your business.
So there's a bloody scene. He's cleaning it up, makes no mention of anyone borrowing his car at any point, and just keeps telling her to mind her own business.
That's right. That's right. And, remember that moment where she asks about her visor. She works at McDonald's. She says that, her McDonald's visor to go to work was inside the car. That's where she left it. She asks him, so where's my visor? And he tells her, it's in the country. Why is it in the country, she said. He said, because there's blood on it. She wants to know why. And, she really just can't get any rational explanation as to why there's blood all over the place.
All right, Joy Lim Nakrin, stand by. We'll get back to you in just a second. I want to introduce tonight's think tank. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. In Los Angeles, California, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. And in Phoenix, Arizona, the attorney represented Jodi Arias, also the author of the book series Trapped with Ms. Arias, Kirk Nurmi. All right, Eklund Mercy. How bad is this day? I mean, from where I'm sitting, pretty bad day.
Oh, it's pretty hot and terrible. That is bad. That comes in discovery. I need people to understand that nothing in trial is actually surprising. They knew about this witness prior to, and I'm trying to understand how this witness exists and you didn't have that heart, that tete-a-tete with your client to see about maybe going some different avenues. I don't know how they're going to alleviate this. I don't know how you diffuse this. I can't. I don't know how you diffuse this. I'm actually shocked that this all happened.
Well, Kirk, yesterday during the opening statement, I'll get to you, Nima, in just a second. It was a good day for prosecutors, so I'm just going to let them kind of lay things out here. Kirk, yesterday the defense made a big splash in their opening statement saying there was zero DNA from the defendant on the victim. And then today, we get inside the car. We get inside the crime scene, which this defendant is cleaning up, makes no mention of anyone else ever having his car, and he was out in the country with some blood, exactly where Samantha Josephson was found. This is, I don't know if you recover from today, Kirk.
Well, Vinny, I don't think the defense can recover, but ultimately they didn't have any cards to play to begin with, right? We heard this. The only possible defense is this idea that it wasn't him behind the wheel. That's the only thing. So, and this witness we heard from today, the ex, you're right, Vinny, it's not going to be a good day in court. And I don't think Mr. Rowland is going to have any good days in court, whether it's his ex on the stand or not, because the evidence in this case is so strong. And the defense is going to do all they can to create reasonable doubt around him, the one doing it. And the one thing about today was that this ex, or whatever relationship they had, tied him directly to this crime with his own words. And ultimately, that is a hurdle I cannot see the defense overcoming.
Nima, this was a great day for prosecutors, a great day. You know, every case, we don't like to use that term that it's a slam dunk. No trial is even a layup. I think they all come with some level of difficulty because of the burden that prosecutors carry into the courtroom, but this is a good way to overcome that burden.
Yeah, Vinny and you have been talking, and there's always surprises at trial, but this one, I mean, I haven't seen anything like this in my 20 years of practice. This is just a train wreck for the defense, and I understand why Nate Rowland wanted to fire his attorneys on Monday, because they probably told him there's absolutely no way you can defend this case on the merits. The only question is the jury going to deliberate for 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Will they actually reach half an hour? They're certainly going to return a guilty verdict an hour or less, because there is so much overwhelming evidence in this case. It's just, you know, forensics. You got the cell phones. You got him on video all over the place, trying to use the ATM card, trying to sell the cell phone. Now you got his ex-girlfriend testifying today. And as a former prosecutor, I love ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, and wives. They always know where the bodies are buried, and they have an axe to grind. So that's the first person I ask my law enforcement agents to interview.
Okay, Anderson Sullivan Lee is the person who found Samantha. And again, this is an important fact, is where she is, because of what Joy pointed out to us about in the country, because Nathaniel Rowland's family lives out in the country, a couple miles from where Samantha was found. Let's take a listen.
As you were walking here from the access road down the Firebreak Trail, what, if anything, did you observe while you were walking out looking for turkeys?
Well, I was walking down. I didn't observe anything. It was on my way back. So when I guess I was just looking through the woods, and something caught my eye to the left.
Over in this area?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I saw something. I wasn't sure what it was. So I stopped and I kept looking. And then I guess the more I looked at it, the more it started looking like a body. And that's when I called Ryan down there, and he walked down the fire break to me. And he was like, you know, we were kind of both in disbelief.
Objection's overruled.
Go ahead.
And then,
You said you were in disbelief?
yeah, I guess we didn't expect to see something like that, you know, turkey hunting especially, you know, out in the middle of nowhere like that. And so I took a couple steps to get a better viewpoint because there was trees and stuff. And that's when we decided we needed to call somebody.
Clearly, Kirk, out in the country. That's where you go turkey hunting. You go out in the country, and that's where they are. And from the videos and the pictures that they showed of the area, this is exactly in step with what we heard from Maria Howard about the bloody visor and the words of the defendant. He's in the country. That's where she is.
Yeah, you're right, Vinny. And this ties it again. It ties to the girlfriend's testimony, but I believe it's also an area that the evidence will show this Mr. Rowland was familiar with. So it's a common place for him to dump the body. Again, it's just more and more amount of evidence. And while maybe we can't call a trial slam dunk, this is as close as it gets because the evidence is mounting. And I think Nima's right on. He probably wanted to fire his attorneys because they told him he was going to get convicted in just a few minutes, and they're just simply having to go through the motions as best they can.
Yeah. I just want to check back in with Joy Lim Nachman real quick for a quick preview. What's coming up tomorrow?
Yeah, so we left off today with that really powerful testimony from State Law Enforcement Division investigator Todd Shank. Remember, he was talking about both crime scenes where the victim's body was found, also where the defendant's vehicle was recovered, and he photographed those scenes. He presented those really bloody scenes, the images of them, graphic images to the jury. But there wasn't enough time for him to be cross-examined, so that's what we expect tomorrow morning. And again, Vinny, this was one of the most compelling witnesses for the state today. So that if defense wants to make some headway, they've really got to do some serious business on cross tomorrow.
All right, Joy Lim Nakrin in South Carolina for us. When we